Welcome back to South Baltimore Now. We've got a truly inspiring and exciting episode for you today. We are here with Ckori Jones, the managing director of the incredible organization known as the Diamond Collective, home of the Baltimore Urban Baseball Association, aka Buba. Buba is a vital force dedicated to building future leaders by serving over 500 scholars annually with their top-tier athletic training, mentorship, and educational programming. Ckori is here to tell us all about their inaugural can't-miss fundraiser event, Field of Futures, supporting Buba and the Tony Gwynn Legacy East Foundation. So, mark your calendars for Saturday, December 6th, from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Diamond Collective, which is over at 1205 South Cary Street. This special evening will feature an open bar, live music, heavy hors d'oeuvres, inspiring stories from student athletes, and special remarks from Orioles legend Adam Jones. Yep, that Adam Jones. Every ticket directly creates pathways to success for Baltimore's youth. To find more details and secure your spot for this unforgettable night, visit thediamondcollective.org. And now, stepping up to the plate, ready to swing for the fences with this interview, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Lynch. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, what's going on, Nate? I'm very excited about this interview today. The Diamond Collective is an awesome facility over in Pigtown. Not only is it relates to southbeamore.com, but certainly in my personal life as well. So very excited about this topic today and very excited to have Ckori on. Ckori, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and looking forward to sharing it so you can learn more about the Diamond Collective and the Baltimore Urban Baseball Association.
Tell us about the history of Buba and the Diamond Collective and how you got involved.
So there actually is a story. I've been coaching baseball for 21 years, and the last 3 years I coached a team called Marucci, and I actually coached my business partner's son, Chase L. Shosley. We used Buba to work out. And when we used Buba to work out, we really at the time were unaware of the mission and all what Buba did. And so we were using it primarily. We were a travel team that liked the facility because it was large. It was 10,000 square feet at the time. The other 10,000 square feet wasn't finished. But it had these big cages, this large green space, high ceilings, and it was a phenomenal place to practice at. Over the course of the year, and this is about 4 years ago when I'm coaching his son at 10U, over the course of talking to the founder, Andy was a one-man show trying to keep the doors open to what he called America's first free baseball facility for the underserved. And so after using the facility for 2 years, it looked like Andy may not be able to pay all the bills. And what we decided to do, because we believed in the mission and because me and Ashraf El Shazli, my business partner, are baseball guys, we decided to buy the facility. And it's interesting, we didn't see it on LoopNet or hear about it as a distressed property, but we literally used it. I believe it was destiny and fate for us to use that facility and then end up purchasing it. The guy that owned it, Berg, we had done some business with him at the can company. We found out about the owner, so it made sense. And really excited that we purchased the property. And since we've purchased it, there's been a lot of things that we've done, and we're looking forward to adding as much more value to Buba as possible.
Tell us what's in the building at the Diamond Collective. You walk in, what are you going to see?
So what's interesting is that the property has both of them are 10,000 square feet each. So the total square footage of the facility is 20,000 square feet, which is pretty large for a baseball facility. Most facilities have cages, and that's about it. They have a bunch of pitching lanes. What's unique about the Diamond Collective is that it has areas that are targeted areas for specifics. So when you walk in where the parking lot is and you walk up the steps and you come in, you're going to be greeted by a really big open turf area. That open turf area can be used for plyometric drills, high knees, calisthenics, but also ground balls, turning double plays. It's a large area where you can get about a half of an infield of practicing. Ceilings are really high, so you can work on football drills where you're V-lining and making a right or making a left, and you're getting a little bit of work in where you can throw the ball kind of high. Also on that side are, I would call it 6 cages. It's 3 cages that are about 75 to 80 feet long, which means you can get a full bullpen in all 3 of them. But we have partitions so that they all break down into, each cage breaks down into really, when you put the partition in, it's 2 cages. So a lot of teams use 6 cages on that one side. And that large open turf area, we have a cage that we can pull all the way out. It's retractable like an accordion. So if you really wanted to focus on hitting, you literally, because that large cage that retracts into the open turf area has a partition as well. So on that side, we have the large open area with the retractable cage, and then 3 cages where you can do live at bats, have partitions to create 6. And I guess in terms of technology, what's interesting about 2 of our 3 long cages is that they have hitting software that will provide feedback to hitters, called Hit Tracks. You can see your launch angle. You can see your exit velo. You can see the velocity of how you're hitting the ball. You can track what type of hit you get. It makes it fun for players, but also you can see areas that you need to work on. And then in terms of having fun or competing and doing an inter squad, you can compete in there because we have multiple pitching machines. We have an iPitch, which actually has a iPad feature to it, so you can create the at-bat, meaning off-speed pitch, fastball, slider outside. And then we also have a hack attack in the other cage. So there's pitching machines, there's cages. And then last but not least, we do have pitching mounds that allow you to get your bullpen in so you're not thrown on flat ground. Once you move to the backside, we have some areas that we built out. We have somewhat of a gym to the left side that has 3 treadmills as well as some other equipment. But there's no free weights on the left side. It's more of weights so that nobody can get hurt. And then to the right side, we have a strength and conditioning area. It has a number of dumbbells ranging from 5 pounds to 75 pounds, a number of med balls, sled, and then we have 3 squat racks with free weights. That's our strength and conditioning area. It's got a large green space for activities to get bigger and stronger. We have a middle runway I think it's 40 yards. And so that area is where we will track the metrics for people that are running like things like steel break and miles per hour. And then we have on that backside also, we have 3 training cages. They're not long enough to put a pitching machine, but it allows our trainers to be able to get in there and work on mechanics. And then last but not least, in the back area, we have a classroom. And so that classroom, we just push back one of the training cages, and we have a number of chairs and tables where our kids in the Buba after school program can get it in the afternoon. We got 50 laptops and a smart board where the kids can do their homework, receive tutoring services, and just do whatever is necessary on that day from an educational side. So yeah, classroom, gyms, and a large runway is what the backside is composed of.
How important is it for the baseball community to have indoor spaces to get in work?
There's a lack of fields, especially in the underserved areas. So before you even get to cold, you have to have fields to play on. So that's the first issue. The second issue, 100%, we're in the East Coast, and that's why majority of the top teams in the country come from the West Coast and they come from Florida because they can play all year round. You get better when you can put in work. And you can only put in work if you have a place to do it. We're receiving significant demand in this cold season because people are starting to understand that we're here, that we're open, and that our facility really provides a lot of value. Again, most places have cages, and what makes us unique is the multiple areas. Most people trying to train might drive to the pitching guy and way over here to the hitting guy, way over here to the fielding guy. And what we're trying to do is have all of these disciplines in one place. So you don't have to drive here and there. You can come to us.
And talk a little bit about the difference between Bubba and some of the nonprofit program they're doing versus the Diamond Collective, where somebody might have a travel baseball team and is looking to book the facility. Can you talk about the relationship there a little bit?
Me and Ashraf, my business partner, we had to make a decision. What were we trying to do with this facility? And so what we decided was we wanted to fully support the nonprofit because we believe in the mission. And in the same lane, we want to be able to rent the facility out when it's coldest and have training programming for travel teams. If your team wants to rent the facility, absolutely. From the philanthropy side and from the community side, we support Bubba from the standpoint of the facility is available for what we call Bubba Scholars. And so there's some kids in the community that get a scholarship. And actually, that's what our December 6th event is all about. The money we raise is going to help young people that potentially don't have the resources to book the facility. And they'll come in and they can get training because what we believe in is exposure and access. But to some of our travel teams that already have a team they're paying to play on and they need a solid place to play and they have to make a decision in the marketplace we're trying to provide the most value. So we're for profit for our travel teams that are already having their players pay dues and have money allocated in their budget. We're supporting the nonprofit by opening our doors and making sure there's a segment of our facility and times for our facility where the Buba programming will take place so that they will not be unable to use the facility, if that makes sense.
Very cool. And let's just say you're a father and son that wants to get in a little bit more work than any team they're on is currently doing. Are there opportunities for individuals and families to come in and get work at the Diamond Collective?
Absolutely. If you go to our website, thediamondcollective.org, and you go to the rental tab, you just scroll down and you click availability, and there's these boxes that you'll look at, and you'll just click when you want to rent, what you want to rent. You can rent anything at the facility. If you wanted to rent a patch of green space, you could rent that for 30 minutes and have access to that. Come in and you could use that area. And if you want to not just rent something, but you want to seek the assistance of a professional and receive pitching, hitting, speed, or strength and conditioning, we have people that are in the industry well known that you can sign up for their programming on our website and they can work with you. We have a lot of different programming. We just finished a player development series that took place all fall. We had a tremendous turnout. I think next week's our last week that we're doing it on Monday. That's the type of programming that will come back after the winter season, because right now it seems like all the teams are booking us up. But when the teams aren't booking us up as much, we have more programming because there's more availability in the schedule. So just to recap that, if you want to rent the space, you go online to thediamondcollective.org and you can see what is available if you go to the rental tab. And if you want to sign up for programming, you would literally click on our website and you would click on speed, or you would click on player development, or you would click on hitting, and you would be able to find a trainer, and then they would get you connected to the programming that they're offering. And that programming changes. It's not the same thing all the time because things are changing. I do want to add one other thing that you didn't ask quite yet, but at the Diamond Collective, we have birthday parties and corporate events. I even had my church come there for a really solid time where a bunch of married couples came out and we did a whole stretch thing, and then we had some breakout sessions. It was really fun. And so if you go to our website and go to events, we have corporate events, birthday parties, and then there's also a prayer circle the first Monday of every month, and then virtually on the third Monday. We have a whole host of things to do. It's a really cool building. When we did the build out, we tried to keep it in its previous form. We did some painting, but you can see the exposed beams. It's a really cool environment to host an event. Kevin, I think you even had a birthday party there. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah, that was great. A lot of fun by everybody there. I was a little sore afterwards, throwing too many pitches, but that comes with being a father of boys.
There you go.
And I guess one could throw a hit tracks party there and have Ckori Jones as the MC.
I'm known as the hype man. I have a lot of energy. I taught school. I was a history teacher for 10 years. I used to always do these baseball camps for the principal of Pilati High School, Jeff Palumbo. He used to coach in Bowie, and he used to always have a camp. And I used to always do the camps. And even from an educational side, I used to do summer camps with kids and do cheers and chant. That's in my blood. I'll say things like, if you hear me clap 2 times. Those are just the types of things that I've learned over the years. I love baseball and I love kids. A wise man once told me, people don't all the way remember what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. The goal at the Diamond Collective is for kids to have a really enjoyable time. You know, people think sometimes that baseball's boring. It's just not true. You got to get out there and get in the cage and throw, and you're going to find that baseball, unlike any other sport, is a game where you can fail 70% of the time and still be considered great. I love the game. I wouldn't trade it for nothing, and I'm glad that this is what I'm doing with my time at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. I grew up playing baseball, and I have a lot of memories of it just being super stressful and a lot of coaches that were just so hard on you all the time. And I just love this new era of baseball I feel like we're seeing, where there's just so many coaches that want to put a lot of fun into the game, and there's a lot of flair in the fashion of baseball now. So it's like, you know, I work with a lot of young baseball players, and kids absolutely love baseball. If you do baseball the right way, which it seems like a lot of people are doing now, kids are obsessed with the game. Is this more new school mentality? Let's have fun. It's a pressure-filled game. We don't need to remind everybody of that all the time. Let's work fun, because you put a baseball bat in a kid's hand, they typically have a good time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The game is changing. When I grew up, if you flipped the bat, then the next out is going to get hit, but in the head. But the game is changing. It's a little more flamboyant. I think as long as we're in agreement on what's acceptable and what's considered etiquette, we're good. But I can tell you, man, nothing feels better than to get a hit and to round first base and your dad and your mom cheering for you. And there's nothing better than sliding into a base and the umpire says safe. There's nothing better than throwing a strike three and you're on the hill and you walk off the field and your parents are cheering for you. Yeah, baseball is unique. In basketball, you can score 8 points and that's not even a good night. But you score one time, you cross the plate one time, and that's a big deal. You hit one home run, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and those moments are certainly fun for the parents to see them looking back at you with a big smile on their face.
That's right.
Now, you got the Field of Futures event coming up. That's going to be a really awesome event right at your facility at the Diamond Collective and Buba. So why should our listeners come to that event?
That's a great question. I think that's a multi-tiered question. I do want to, preliminarily, I want to say this. And I'm not knocking anybody else's fundraiser, but we determined that we're not going to do this at a fancy place. We're going to do this at the facility. And it's actually difficult to do that because this facility is not made to do that. There's a lot of equipment, there's cages. We're really having to move everything so the decor can be usable for this event. But we're doing it because we want people to see what's happening. We're looking forward for people in the community that have been passing the building to smell what it smells like and see what it looks like. A very simple answer would be, we want you to see what we're doing. There's no better way to inspire a person than for them to see what's happening. Everybody is asking for money. Even when you go to the grocery store, it says, do you want to round up 15 cents? And it's just, after a while, you're just like, no. You have to pick and choose where you're going to give back. And I think what people want to know is, when I give, what am I giving to? And when people can see that what they're giving to actually does pay off, I think they're more willing to do so. I remember I was on a trip overseas for my anniversary and I was talking to a lady working and I gave her $100 because she told me about how her husband has to take 3 different buses. And with that $100, he could buy a motorcycle and he could get to work in an hour instead of 3 hours. And I was like, wow, this $100 in some instances is dinner. And for them, it's going to change their life. Well, that's what people are going to do when they give at the event. They're going to give to either Buba or the Tony Gwynn Legacy East Foundation. I think that you got to get there to see what's happening, because there's going to be an opportunity for you to really get a firsthand glance. We have a video prepared that we're having professionally done. We're going to have people like Adam Jones speaking about the real change happening. People tend to complain about crime or the young people, and the way to affect change is to spend time. Not everybody has the time to get into the pit. Everybody has their own things that they're committed to. They have their family, they have their job. We're willing to go into the pit. We're willing to spend the time. We're willing to give back, but we do need support to pay for the people that are doing the work. And right now, me and my business partner are financing. We bought the building, we did the build out, and we're financing the efforts that take place. Bubba does have some grants, but the 9 to 5 is something we're financing, and it's just not sustainable. We're looking for people that see what's happening and want to get involved. And I will say that another thing is that when people get involved, it's not even necessarily 100% financial. A person owns a business, and there's an opportunity to barter. If a business says, hey, we have a need for some of your college students to maybe intern in the summer, amenable to those partnerships. Other people have things that, hey, they'd like to give us some baseball bats for the kids that don't have a bat. There's a lot of ways to give. And so our goal is just to make people aware of what's happening so that they can prayerfully consider partnering with us.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a fun event and a good chance to really get a taste of what you guys are doing over there on Ckori Street in Pigtown. And before we go, obviously you've done a lot of youth coaching and now you have Buba Baseball. What would you say the state of youth baseball is in the Baltimore area? And with facilities like you, what do you think it could achieve in the future?
So you have outside of Baltimore, like in the surrounding counties, and then you have in Baltimore. And I think that outside of Baltimore, just the surrounding counties, they just have more baseball resources. I live in Bowie. We probably have 40 baseball fields, maybe 50. It's crazy. We'll have complexes that have 6 fields in one location. A lot of the high schools in Baltimore don't have a field. And so how are you gonna play baseball with no field? The goal is to expose, meaning when the schools are partnered with come to the Diamond Collective for homework, then they can get in the cage. Some of these kids don't even play a ton. Now they're getting exposed. And then give them access. We are toying with having a showcase team that is of kids coming to the Diamond Collective through Buba. We do not have a quote unquote travel team. We didn't decide to go that avenue. We went the team rental route and then support Buba. My thought is if we can be a resource for access, there will be more people that play the game. Through our networks, we're looking to take kids and place them in locations based on the people we know that need people that want to play. It's possible that we will have some sort of team at some point. At this point, Buba doesn't have a team. The Diamond Collective doesn't have a team. But that's mainly because the fact that we've only owned the facility for a year, and it's really taken this long to build it out. If you look at it now, you can see that it's fully finished. We are lacking certain things that we're hoping that when we raise money, we can pay for, like AC that is a little bit better, heating is a little bit better. In terms of it being usable, it is usable. So we are seeing an uptick in kids playing baseball because of our facility, and we're going to work hard to make sure that they have a place to play through the resources that we know in and outside of the community.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I actually have a meeting tonight about a project for our Little League to take over maintenance of 2 more fields in the area just because there's so many fields in the area that exist but just aren't in playable conditions. Hopefully it can be a combined effort where we have Buba and good resources and some of these fields can be better taken care of to really help out the whole ecosystem down here.
I do want to make a comment about the Diamond Collective. If you go to our website and take a look at what it says that the Diamond Collective is a collaborative facility that brings together multiple nonprofit organizations with a shared mission of using baseball as a platform to support the holistic development of young individuals. Buba is a part of it. Tony Gwynn Legacy East is Game Plan. David Upchurch runs Game Plan. He played for the Steelers. Real Estate Career Pathways is our nonprofit that teaches real estate. SKS Forest Group is teaching agricultural and environmental. His nonprofit focuses on showing kids how they can excel in the agricultural arena for the purposes of getting a job in the future. The Thump Yard, run by Jonathan Dela Cruz and Rigoberto Dela Cruz, they have a nonprofit that is boxing related, where their motto is gloves up, guns down. Also, I wanted to give a special shout out to the Buba Advisory Board, who has been meeting with Tasha Hughes biweekly for several months now to prepare for this event. Tyrone Brooks, Senior Director, Front Office and Field Staff Diversity Pipeline Program for the Major Leagues, is a part of the Buba Advisory Board. John Kutcher, who I just mentioned, who's the newest, his Baseball for Causes nonprofit is a part of the Diamond Collective. He's also on the advisory board. He's the founder and CEO of DICOR. And Miguel Lambert, founder and CEO of the Bulldog Group, he's also on the advisory board for Buba. Chris Rollins, partner at the Alliance Group, he's also on the advisory board. And then we have 2 really cool advisory board members that are college coaches. Edwin Thompson, head coach of Georgetown University, and Matt Swope, head baseball coach of the University of Maryland. Chris Wilson, CEO of Cuttlefish, is on the advisory board. And last but not least, Corey Sanders, senior trial attorney, U.S. Department of Justice. He's on the advisory board. So really excited to be able to articulate who those people are. I think that that list of names is a testament to Buba and what Buba's doing. We're really excited about 2026, and this fundraiser is going to be what we need to kick it off. So I'm really hoping to get a phenomenal turnout because we're doing great things.
Ckori, hey, this has been awesome, and thank you so much for sharing more about Diamond Collective and Buba. Really appreciate what you're doing here in the community. Kevin and I are both really excited to attend the Field of Futures event on December 6th, and I want to encourage everybody out there, you can come to southbaltimore.com, visit thediamondcollective.org, learn more information about the Field of Futures, get your tickets. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Ckori, and we really appreciate you jumping on today.
Absolutely.